What is good, y'all? It's your boy Benji. We back balling, man. Go ahead and follow Hoops HQ. All the links are down below and popping up on the screen for you on different social medias. Man, we got a lot of news for you today, particularly the Nets let go of Steve Nash, head coach. Big spoiler alert. But we're going to check out a quick breakdown by Woj and ESPN of what kind of led to this decision. Ultimately, I kind of felt like this decision was bound to happen. No disrespect to Steve Nash and the Brooklyn Nets, but when you have two guys of the caliber of KD and Kyrie, and then you pull in also like Ben Simmons. The NBA does not waste a lot of time without waiting for you to get the best results possible. So I think the Nets are like 2-5 within 7 games, but obviously, like I said, I think personally it was going to take a little bit of time for them to kind of get accustomed to everything. They got a lot of young players, and they got a lot of guys: Martin Luther Irvin, Ben Simmons, even KD, bro, who's kind of been battered and beat up as last season, that didn't really get to play too much together. And then, of course, they got a couple new guys added to the roster. So, the NBA doesn't care too much about that, but we're going to check it out, bro. Let's get straight to it.
Breaking news in a sports center out of the NBA. Steve Nash is out as head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Jacques Vaughn, who is the
Bro, being a head coach has been like one of the most toughest jobs because, one, you got to deal with all these guys and their egos. And then secondly, bro, they will not waste time with you. But look at that. Oh, I forgot. He was there a season prior to. Oh, man, yeah, they expected immediate results. That's right. He had Harden as well. Damn, he had a winning record, though. But it was ring or bust. Oh, no.
head coach tonight against Chicago. This was a mutual decision between Nash and
Nash said, I'm done with this. Dealing with these guys, bro. All these press conferences, all this drama off the court. He said, forget this.
Nash no longer the head coach after a 2-5 start. I want to welcome in our NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. And Woj, what can you tell us about the timing and how this decision went down?
Matt, this has been a discussion within the Nets with Steve Nash.
This dude, like, is tapped in.
Here in the last few days as this season really just started to unravel. The 4 straight losses, the Kyrie Irving situation, and even with a win last night against Indiana where they blew a 24-point lead, had to hold on at the end. I think the fact that this team had struggled so much defensively, 29th in the league going into last night, that this was becoming an inevitability. And so Jacques Vaughn will be the acting head coach tonight against the Bulls. And I'm told that the Nets are expected to inquire about a few coaches, including suspended Celtics coach Ime Udoka, who had been an assistant in Brooklyn before he went.
That's right.
Former Jazz coach Quinn Snyder. And I think the Nets may take some time here.
Y'all hear that, bro? They're possibly thinking about getting Ime Udoka. Inquiring about him or at least asking about him. I don't know exactly what stipulations might be, obviously, of his situation and his scenario. Obviously, I feel like reporters are going to try to jump down his throat, but he turned that Celtics team into an elite defensive squad. And the biggest thing I think is going to hurt these Nets guys is going to be them playing defense. So if he can, turn, He's got an impressive resume so far, bro. So, obviously, hopefully that situation that went on with Celtics doesn't hinder him.
Try to see if there's another coach beyond Jacques Vaughn to try to get this season back on track.
Yeah, because it's early enough in the season, Woj, to where 7 games in, theoretically they could make an in-season move to get a coach in. Is that why they're thinking do this now to see if we can rectify this thing?
I think that's certainly part of it, and this is certainly an organization right now that is trying to just hold it together. And listen, we know what went on in the offseason of how close this
they said Kyrie can be coach.
Completely breaking apart. Kyrie Irving leaving, Kevin Durant being traded. And I think for the Nets, I think Steve Nash, as much as he had struggled to start this season with this group, especially on the defensive end, I think I'm told he had reached the end for himself as coach, and that this was very much a mutual decision. This has been certainly more than a challenging group to coach. Certainly a lot of injuries. Ben Simmons, who's not been the Ben Simmons, the All-Star Ben Simmons from earlier in his career in Philadelphia so far in Brooklyn. That's been a big part of this. That's certainly been a part of the frustration. He get another game tonight with a sore knee, and so this is a Nets team that is reeling, and they've got a tough stretch ahead of them. They thought they could get some wins with the opponents they had here in the previous week. Again, back-to-back tonight with Chicago, but Steve Nash is out, and certainly Ime Udoka.
Man. One can only imagine. What do y'all think, man? Do y'all think this was a solid move? Steve Nash from Malik. Oh, God, hold on. Let me see what this is.
Kendrick Perkins on the heels of this news that Steve Nash.
Steve Nash said, I wish them all the success in the world. The Nash will be rooting for our team. Steve Nash said, I'm done with this.
Nash no longer the head coach of the Brooklyn.
He said, they told me they don't need a coach. I'm out.
On this decision by both Nash and the team.
Well, first of all, can they at least get the statement right? Okay, what is mutual decision? Is that Nets, you're fired, and Steve Nash saying, I agree? Like, what's going on? But here's the thing. We saw this coming a mile away, right? We saw this in the offseason when Kevin Durant called for Steve Nash.
Right.
We knew that if they didn't get off to a good start, that he wasn't going to be here long. Now, Kyrie and KD don't have no excuses. Josh Vaughn is a proven head coach in this league. He has proved that he could demand a locker room, and he is going to be that leader. So now all of a sudden what are you going to get out of Ben Simmons when he's healthy, okay? What can you do to put them in position to be successful? Again, offensively,
KD and Kyrie are averaging 60 combined points. Ben Simmons averaging 6, but I think Steve Nash made it a point to say he didn't want Ben Simmons to shoot.
You don't need much out of these guys. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving both are averaging 30-plus right now as a duo. What you need is to demand the locker room to get some type of defensive effort. I mean, when you talk about the defensive lackability, the accountability, everything that they're doing, they're dead last at the bottom in every statistical category. So I actually like this move. I hate that Steve Nash had to get fired. It's part of the job, great individual. But Josh Vaughn is the person that should have been in there in the first place.
All right, so I'll get to that in a minute, but who or what is to blame for the start and the dysfunction and the underperforming we've seen out of the Nets now for the past couple
Steve
years,
Nash
including the two in
has a
place?
part to do with the offense.
Well, you ready for this, Matt?
Yeah.
I believe it's Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. When you think about it, right, if they didn't want Steve Nash in the offseason, what the hell makes you think they wanted him at the start of the season? And not saying that they were playing to get him fired, but if a coach is not demanding the locker room and you don't have your two superstars' attention that need to, where you can hold them accountable, then it's not going to work. Then you're going to play carefree and careless basketball on both ends of the floor. So now Kevin Durant, he got his wish that he wanted this offseason, but I blame all those guys, and especially Ben Simmons, right? Ben Simmons, we thought that he was going to come back and be the all-star of old. That's not him no more, and I think we need to understand that's not who he is. He's just a role player and a piece that you could put in and try to figure it out.
Take me in.
What do y'all think about that?
The ego of an NBA locker room. You've got world-class, top-flight NBA players,
Right.
maybe the best scorer in the game we've seen in quite some time. You mentioned he said this in the offseason, I want this guy out. It didn't happen. The ego now is that, you said it, they got their wish. Do you really believe that now, tonight, against the Bulls, that these egos can come together and put the talent on the court that we believe that they have?
Well, they have no choice. They have no choice. And I mean, again, Kevin Durant, you got your wish. And look, here it is, Matt. Don't come giving me about, franchise guys. They don't have a say-so in what goes on and things to that nature. Yes, they do. I done played with a lot of future Hall of Famers. I done played with a lot of Hall of Famers that's retired. And here's
But real talk, Steve Nash is a Hall of Famer. What differently does Udoka bring to the table? He was a former player as well, but why do y'all believe that? Like, you know what I mean? That Udoka, his effect is a little bit different. I don't know.
The thing, right? Before a decision is made, they come and talk to the top players in the organization. So what I'm looking at right now is I'm like, okay, KD, I haven't seen your leadership skills on the floor thus far in this young season. Can I see them now? Now that Steve Nash is out, now are you going to be that vocal leader? Are you going to be that guy that uplifts and hold people?
Can they win a ring, man?
Are you going to be that guy that brings out the best in Ben Simmons?
What y'all think, bro? Y'all let me know in the comments below. Stay tuned to the next one.